Alright, guys. Welcome back. I know it's been a while. I've just been busy. Been working, been trying out new guys, been painting a lot, bigger projects. If you follow my Instagram, you know what I've been up to. So let's get it going. Here's the one I'm doing today by myself. And to reroute some plumbing. I will be using 5-minute on all this. I'm going to be adding some insulation in right here. Adding some wood where I need to for backing. Like right here, a little piece in there. Right here. Then adding a new drywall, floating it out, and texturing it with the knockdown. So let's get this thing going.
First things first, check the time. It was 8:03 when I started masking. As always, I've been watching for a little bit. Gotta get that plastic down. I mean, it is severely underrated how much people like when you're clean. Just when you put something down. I mean, think about how many times you come in after contractors, plumbers, electricians, handymen. No offense to handyman. I got a handyman buddy. He's gonna watch this. No, I'm not talking about you, dog. Don't worry. But they don't put anything down. You just come on in there, and there's just shit everywhere. So put some plastic down. Keep it clean. Yes, you can put down painter's plastic or something else, but that 1.5 really helps, especially when you're doing something like this, putting over that I don't know what you call it, that little toilet hole. So putting it down, and it'll help you from getting holes in there and getting crumbs and all kinds of whatnot in there. I did notice when I put this down, just look at all that stuff. Look at everything they left in there. I am doing the baseboard on this one, so have to come in here and vacuum all that up first. But first and foremost, plastic, mask. Now, same thing with right here. I started putting it down and I noticed there was tons of dust and drywall crumbs and all kinds of crap all over the baseboard. So first, before we get started, shout out to my beautiful wife. Been together 20 years now. She brought me a little piece of the charger cord there. Without that, I wouldn't be able to make the video today. So, love it, babe. Oh, and she brought me my trusty gloves. Y'all know I like my gloves. They're from Home Depot. I think they're about $10 a pack, something like that. But definitely worth it when you're mudding all day. So, let's get in there and get this vacuum going. Get everything clean first before you stick the tape down. This Drywall vacuum does wonders too. Besides it being cordless, it's just pretty good. It's like a mini shop vac. I want to get those batteries charging, especially when everything's cordless nowadays. So keep the batteries charging when you're on the job. It's at least what I tell my helpers, the guys working with me. Hook them up, keep them charging. Right here was a pain though. They just left everything in there, these guys. If you notice, they didn't put any plates over the pipe right there. I'm gonna put some in later, don't worry. You're gonna see me hang the board first, but I'll get some plates on there. It's all good. So now, before we wanna get all the nails out. All the nails, all the screws, all the trim, fine finish nails, everything. Get everything out, ready to hang. Because I've been in here before when you just start cutting pieces. You come in, put the pieces up, and you're wondering why stuff ain't fitting, and you start screwing it in, and the board breaks and pops, and you get a headache, you get frustrated, you might punch a hole in the wall, take a hammer to the tile, who knows. So just get it ready first, make your life easier. Then I like to go around on this and measure for the pieces to put down everywhere. I go around and just kind of measure everything, and especially this way. This one was a little different because I didn't know if I was gonna have enough drywall. Kind of just had a bunch of leftover pieces and whatnot from other jobs, so I wanted to go through, measure everything, cut all the pieces, lay it down, make sure I was good to go. And something like this, when I'm telling you, they cut this thing so crooked, but something like this, I just measure roundabout where it's gonna be. I think this was about 6 inches, and I just went out there and cut a bunch of 6-inch pieces, 6 inch by 4 feet, and started laying them down.
Yes, boy, and I know it wasn't smoke. April 8th, 8/28. Let's go.
That was some John Party and some Day to Remember playing in the background. I like all kinds of music. Trust me. Especially when the customer's at home, I'll be playing everything. But I know you're seeing me doing little things a little different. I know usually you put the insulation in first, then get the 1x2s. But like I said, want to make sure before I really get going that I had all the right pieces to put down. Now I'm gonna measure for the 1x2s. Get all the pieces down. So I go around, check every patch out, and see how many 1x2s I'm gonna need for each and every area throughout the job. Because like I always say, you want to make, least amount of trips as possible, especially when you're by yourself. And then I'll take out the phone and text my wife. You've been watching for a while, that's what I do. I don't write in the notes section. I don't take a pencil and write on my tape measure or piece of drywall. I just take out my phone, text the measurements to my wife. Right here, since it's so long, I'll just cut like 4 or 5 1x2s, about 8 inches long or something like that, 8 or 9 inches long. And then I'll go around and drop them off, kind of each section, each area. And then I'll just go around and get moving, get to attaching them on there. Sometimes they're small enough, I'll just put them in my belt, but alright, now we're hanging. When I'm by myself, because I get so frustrated doing these cuts around pipes and whatnot, I'll do them first, just to get them out of the way. Because if I do all the, quote unquote easy cuts first, even though I know it's one pipe to cut around, but if I go around and do that first, then come to this pain in the ass stuff, I just get irritated quick. That's kind of what I did with this one. I was like, I'm just going to do 2 pieces. So, cut it in the middle of the stud. Screwed it up. You want to lift it up, make sure it's not touching the ground. So, according to code, you don't want the drywall touching the ground. And believe me, I had a customer back in Texas that made me go around and cut the drywall just a 1/4 inch or so that way it wasn't touching the ground. I just was honestly moving so quick, I just didn't even think about it. But since that guy, if you're watching, appreciate you, because I just always remembered, don't let it touch the ground. Hang it, cut it a little bit short, like 1/2 inch short, and then lift it up with your hammer or something and put it up. So I do it this way, and then I'll screw a little piece on the bottom of the pipe there, put some mesh tape on it, and it's good to go. You mud it up smooth, get that texture on there, no worries. I'm just happy they had the toilet out. Sometimes people call you in, hey, can you patch this? And the toilet's right there. They don't even wipe it up. There's pubes on it and everything. Now we're moving on. Now right here, I know you're thinking, why didn't you cut it to middle of the stud. Like I said, I want to make sure I had enough drywall. So, and this is fine. Put it up right here. Get the 1x2 in there. Doesn't need to go all the way down because there's still enough space from that 1x2 down to the bottom plate of the framing. So you can screw it off and move on down the road. Now, obviously, you know, less pieces, the better, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So now, I'm gonna move down from that area, came into here, put the insulation up, film this with the DJI Osmo Pocket. That thing's pretty cool. Use it a lot for my family channel. Do camping videos and things like that. Not trying to get monetized or anything on that one. It's mostly for the family to watch and just have good memories. But this thing's awesome. You get the little active track on there, and you just kind of click on yourself, and it'll follow you all around. Whatever you're doing, it just follows you. Crazy. So on here, I do put the piece up, and then I'll just mark where I need to trim it down because it was cut so crookedly. I'll just mark it with my knife or with my pencil, and then I'll just shave it down piece by piece and put it in. You could put a piece up there and then trace it on the wall, and then cut out the piece on the wall, and then put the piece in there. But that's just not how I do things. So
we are hung. Now I'm gonna do a quick little cleanup. Get all this drywall pieces out of here. Installation. Throw it all in a trash bag. Slap the mesh tape on it. And we're ready to mud. What's the time right now? 10:27. Couple hours. Not bad.
So when putting this mesh tape on, you want to line it up half and half. So half on the existing drywall and half on the new drywall. Sometimes we even make it to where it's like a quarter on the new drywall, you know, on the rest, a quarter on the existing and then the rest on the new. But really you want to try to do half and half. Try not to overlap it. You know, remember, you're just trying to get enough mud on here to cover it. Now, I know you're talking about pre-filling. People are going to be, you know, bitching about pre-filling. I make sure I work the mud in there through these openings, through the mesh tape. I go back and forth, so it works it in there. Trust me, if I were to pull off the mesh tape, it would look like I pre-filled it. Promise you. That's what I do every day. And I get this on there so I can move quick. Now it's time for the 5-minute. Y'all know I like my 5-minute. Get that sponge, do one sponge full in there. Yes, that water looks dirty. If you're new to this, I really recommend getting clean water. Even if you're doing 20-minute, that 20-minute will be more like 30-minute with some clean water. The reason why I'm doing 5-minute instead of pans of 20 is I can throw the pans of 5-minute on just as quick as I throw 20 on. Now, if I'm doing 20, it's going to take me longer because I'll be throwing it on and I'll be waiting. So this way, I throw the pan of 5 on, come back, do another one, come back, do another one, come back, do another one. Then I'll go through and I'll mix it all. Usually I do about 2 though, 2 pans, and then I'll come back and I'll scrape it all and sponge it all down. But for this first pass, not trying to 1-coat this like I do in my videos. This is gonna be more than likely a 2 coat. Really never 3 coats. It's mostly 2 coats. First pass, I'm basically just keeping it smooth, filling it in, basically like my pre-fill, but I'm filling it in, I'm smoothing it out, I'm keeping it really smooth. I'm really not leaving any excess on here when I do it like this with the 5-minute. So keep going, keep laying it on there. You're just locking down the tape and putting mud in there where there is some kind of gap, so that when you come back and scrape it and remud it, you're pretty much done. It's like always a 2 coat. I rarely ever do 3 coats on a job like this, especially when there's texture involved. Let me know in the comments below what you do. Do you throw a bucket of 40 on this and just wait an hour for it to dry, you know, and then come back and then scrape it and do another one? Or do you have a bigger pan than this maybe? You do huge pans of 20? Let me know. I'm really interested. This is just the way I do things. So I was taught on a 5-minute. My cousin literally taught me on it. He makes 5-minute pans all day long. Maybe throw them on. They dry out before I even got to the patch. So that's how I learn. Don't recommend that. Recommend 20 at first to learn. Just for a little bit though. Otherwise you get too used to the length of the 20. So now this one, I could have cut out around the outlet, put a new piece in there, but didn't want to mess with that cut. Didn't want to, have more drywall to put in there. Once you throw all this mud in there and smooth it out, you got the tape on there, it'll be just fine. Look like nothing ever happened. So this is just the second pan on this. I didn't put any where you saw me move on to this section because that's when I was going to put the covers in there that go to protect the pipe so screws and nails don't get in there. So I'm just kind of going around throwing mud on where I can until they get to me so I can put them on. I've worked with a lot of guys that for some reason don't want to cover around the pipes, make it tight. Are you one of those guys? Or do you like to make it tight and make it clean? Let me know. Now I'm gonna come in here, just do a nice caulking in the corners, bam, bam, and then right there, and then I'll prep for texture. Cover that, cover these, plastic right here, tape right there, cover all this. You'd be surprised when people get irritated when you just texture that. It happened last time. My guy was like, "You really gonna cover that?" And I said, "Hell yeah." And I'm just watching. He's like, "Man, I think it's fine." I swear, the customer came in right after we were done. I said, "Can you wipe the texture off of this, please?" So, takes 2 seconds. Cover that. Let's see. Tape and plastic right here. And tape and plastic right here. And I'll probably bring it over so I don't get overspray everywhere. Tape and plastic on the windows. And some more tape and plastic right there. Let's go. Open it like this. That's the camera behind me. Push it on the edges. Usually when it's fresh, not too much crap in there. So make sure you pull it to the sides. Tap it right here. Put it all in there. There you go. Now this could be a box for your mud after you mix pans. And this is that soquete or soquette, I don't know how you say it, but this is what I use. Now, let's do 1 sponge. 2 sponge, 3 sponge. Let's see how that goes.
This is all you really need. It works just fine. Ooh, it's wet. Kind of mix it around like this first, and then mix away. That might be it. I always test it like this, see how it drips off. It'll set up as you leave it, so I leave it like this. Cover it up with the lid real quick. And we'll come back.
So now get that compressor, get the hose, bring it in, hook it up, get it ready to spray.
Oh, it still has air from yesterday. This is what I have it at. I was at 140 and 80. But that's it for now. No matter how they try. Oh yeah, that's good.
Now when pouring mud by yourself, typically it's what I do if I'm outside already. Lean on the tailgate, pour it in the hopper, clean up the edges. You don't want to put the lid back on there with mud all over the edges. And you're good to go. Now spraying, I know some people do like a circle pattern. I like to go left, right, up, down, up, down. Basically box it in. So you're getting basically like every inch of that patch. You're hitting it with texture. When you're spraying the knockdown, I like to tell people when they first start to just go half of the size of the knockdown. So when you're spraying on, spray on like the bumps of mud on there, like the balls of mud. Do it half the size of what the knockdown like flatness is. So that way when you knock it down, it pretty much spreads out to be this pretty much the same size of what that knockdown is. And because this was drying so quick, I went right away. I didn't waste any time. I went straight to the knockdown knife, which is from Hyde. I'll leave the links to all these things that I use in the description, so check it out. It is an Amazon affiliate link. Make like a penny off of it, but hey, every bit helps, right? So check them out. I go with the Hyde knife first to knock everything down, and then I'll go through with my 6 or my 8 or something like that, and I will go through and get everything that I kind of missed, or get the details around the outlet, things like that. Highly recommend that camera. It's a little pricey, but comes in handy, fits in your pocket. DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Get it in stores while it lasts. Now it will dry quicker on the patched area than the paint area. So typically leave the paint area for later. I'll come through and get the patched areas first.
I'll make sure next time I film this and I have so many ass shots in here. So. But man, it turned out good. And on that patch, I don't know if you could tell, but I combined them both. I mudded them both together and texture it all the way to the corner. So that way it was just one patch instead of two. Same process, spray and knock down, spray and knock it down. Don't let it wait too long or it won't knock down as flat. Alright, that is a wrap. Drywall done, baseboard in and caulked. Same with here. All cleaned up. We are done. One day, one man. Had lunch with the wife. It can be done. Long day though. Usually don't work this long of a day. But thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you're new, if you've been around, man, it's hard working and editing videos. But I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying. Hit that like and subscribe. That's it. Peace.